What's up, y'all? It's your girl Shay Renee, and I am back for us to talk about Sistas Season 4. We're going to breeze through episode 18 and discuss episode 19 because I didn't talk about episode 18 last week. But, y'all, we have so many developments with Zach and Fatima. Where is Zatima? Let's just get into it, shall we? All right, y'all. So I want to start this off first with talking about Healistic Things. Please, please, please visit their website. Get some sea moss gels. All those amazing things is in the description box. And also visit my website for my Healthy Expression t-shirts. Food is my love language. Get you one, okay? Unisex sizes available. All right, let's get into the episode. So, Sisters Season 4, Episode 18. We're going to breeze through it. Zach is still in jail. And he finds out he isn't going to get out, and they are going for 15 years. And Andy says she's going to make calls. Zach gets upset, and Fatima encourages him to let them work on it. He says he's tired of women doing things for him, even though she hasn't let him down, he feels like he finally has money, and he's tired of women in his life always having to come through for him. So basically, in this moment, what Zach is realizing is that because even though he has money, he's still going through trials and tribulations in his life, and he just doesn't want to have to depend on women like he previously did with Karen, and he just doesn't want it to feel like he owes anybody anything. So there are a lot of situations that come up where he's feeling like he's going to have to lean on somebody. So Andy is the one that ultimately got him out of jail. Then in this episode, we also see Robin helping to get him, working with Andy to get him out, and so on and so forth. And then we see Jake paying the contractor for him so that the contractor isn't bad mouthing him. But then we also see other people working against them in this episode as well, because now we have Hayden, who is now tapped into some airport source where he done figured out, I guess, they're alluding to him finding out who this woman is that gave Zach the tip on the um, stock option that he has that ultimately made him rich. So we're just going through all these different changes with Zach, and we're just really hoping and waiting to see what's going to be the outcome of this. Then we also revisit the situation with Preston and Danny in this episode, where we're just really trying to figure out where the heck are they going to go next. And of course, we have these dumb scenes with Maurice and Q and Calvin, because we just don't even know what to do with these characters at this point. Andy and Robin having sexual rendezvous on the couch, and Gary is watching them. And Jake from State Farm walks in on them and sees him doing this. And he's going crazy because Andy is messing with this guy in this penthouse that he ultimately bought to buy her affections back, and it didn't work. So now he's going crazy in the office. So that's pretty much the synopsis of episode 18, okay? So let's get into episode 19 because I have a lot to say, all right? So Jake waits for Zach because remember I talked about Jake paying the contractor. So he's waiting for Zach at his house. Zach and Fatima pull up, and Jake really wants to tell him about this whole situation with Gary and Hayden and how they are just pretty much working behind his back to try to get him. And he decides not to talk about that right now because he just pushes it off and says it is just the contractor because Fatima is there. Because Zach tells her don't go in the house because, he don't have nothing to hide from her. And plus, he wants to show her the house himself because he's got it all set up and she hasn't seen it yet. So Jake says, oh, you know what? We could talk later. Don't worry about it. I just wanted to let you know that I paid the contractor and you can just pay me back whatever. So Zach is like, you paid the contractors? He was like, yeah, he was bad mouthing you. So I just went on and paid him. So Zach is surprised that this man went on and gave him upwards of 3 stacks to pay a debt. And he's like, I don't owe nobody. So I don't like to owe people. So I'm going to call you later so I can give you your money back. So he says, it's all good. We'll square up later. Zach and Fatima go in the house. He shows Fatima around and basically lets her know that he wants her to move in. So they start talking about the potential of her moving in. She loves the place and what he's done with it, but she's also scared because she's like, well, I think I want to keep, I'll move in with you. First, she's a little apprehensive. She's like, no, maybe we need to have our own space. What if we have an argument? And Zach slips up and says something about, well, you go take a drive. And she's like, well, why I got to take a drive? He's like, because it's my place. And she's like, see, that's what I'm worried about. You saying that it's your house. And now I don't have anything to show for myself because I've given up my place. She's like, I'll live here, but I need to keep my place. He's like, no, give that shit up. I got you. I want to take care of you. So she eventually concedes and says that she's going to go ahead and do it. So they go over and they have a little rump session upstairs and moving on. All right. So actually, also in that scene, I want to bring light to Fatima, kind of alluding to not really trusting Jake because they talk about the stock, and Fatima tells Zach that she thinks that he should sell it because it's up 30% now. And she's like, well, what does that mean? And he's like, yeah, I've made almost $2 million off of it. She's like, you need to get rid of this stock and we need to just move on. Just sell it. So he says, all right, can I talk to Jake about it first? So he's going to talk to Jake about it and they're going to go from there. So moving on, Hayden goes in Andy's office upset that she got Zach out of prison. So he's like, how the heck did you do it? He's like, you know what? I'm going to get him back in there. And there's nothing that you're going to be able to do. There's no way you could have gotten around that judge. You must have used old boy, your little boyfriend, to help you get him out of jail. So I'm just at this point like, Hayden, why do you work on anything else besides getting Zach and Fatima caught up? You're doing a whole lot of work and evilness for somebody that you ain't even gonna be able to smell the PUSSY. What is wrong with you? Like, let it go. I think Hayden's character, we talk about this in a lot of my other reviews. There are so many characters on this show that it's just kind of like, all right, it's time to say arrivederci. Like, Hayden is one of them. His character is just annoying. And it's like, why? Fatima never really had a relationship with you. This is a literal fatal attraction. So he's like, well, I'm going to get them locked up again. And until I do, you can't have Fatima in the office because I have a restraining order against her. And I don't care what you and your little boyfriend do. So Andy is like, oh, really? So, all she's going to do is get a lawyer and file a harassment claim on you because you've been harassing her. And I have the proof that you've been doing it. So I'm like, oh my God, here we go with this. He's still trying to find a loophole. And mind you, he's over here looking through airport footage, trying to figure out how to nail Zach. So at the end of the episode, we're going to get into that. Somebody called Zach, and I think it was the lady that gave him the tip off for the stock in the first place. Hayden must have reached out to her and figured out who she was. And I'm just like, through all this airport footage, how do you know outside of anything that all he didn't do was just simply help her with her bags? It could be a complete coincidence that this happened. So you had to really be scouring some footage to really figure that out and to identify this woman out of all people. And Zach hadn't been working at the damn airport for quite some time. So this is some crazy shit for him to be really literally sitting there trying to spend all his time figuring this shit out. Again, what other cases are you working on? Why are you always so worried about what the heck Zach and Fatima are doing? And let you tell her you don't want Fatima anyway. So why are you so caught up on them? I just need for Andy to get his ass locked up because I'm so tired of Tyler Wright hating out the cast. I'm just so sick and tired of him because it's just getting annoying at this point. So moving on. Andy tells him to get the hell up on out her damn office because she ain't got nothing else to say to him. So then Preston goes to Sabrina's job to talk to her. So he's in there telling her that he got some really bad advice from somebody and he really feels like he hurt Danny's feelings, but he really wants to be with her and he don't know how to get back from, together with her from what all the things that he's already done. So he's like, I've taken people to her favorite restaurants and all the places that she likes to go. And I just really think I've ruined this. How do I fix it? And Sabrina is pretty much like, you know what? You just need to talk to her because Danny does like you, but you just been doing some foolery and some fuckery, but you need to fix it. And just call her, just talk to her and tell her everything that you're trying to tell me. So he says, all right, I'm going to call her. I'm going to try to fix it. So as he's leaving out, here go Maurice trying to put his booty on Preston. So Preston trying to maneuver around him to get the heck out of the dag or out of Sabrina's office. And of course, typical Maurice fashion, he being silly. So he comes in there. He was like, "Who is this cowboy?" He's like, "That's Danny's friend." So he's like, And what's going on with them? And she's like, "No, he's straight." He's like, "Ooh, just how I like him." She's like, "Get out of here, Maurice." So he gallops on out the damn office, which I'm like, Maurice is good for some comic relief, child. So then Sabrina calls Karen and says she wants to get the Karen special because she's going on a date with Bio tonight. So Karen says, "All right, hurry up and bring your tail on up in here now." So then she calls Danny, of course, and tells Danny that Preston, she was like, "You'll never believe who came by." And Danny's like, "Come on with it, because I ain't got time to be playing no guessing games today." So she tells Danny about Preston and his visit and how he wants to talk to her and how he wants to fix things. And she thinks that Danny should listen to him. And Danny is like, "Well, I have a date tonight. I ain't worrying about him. And he has a lot to learn before we can even have a conversation." So she's like, "We're going to Olive or something like that." And Sabrina's like, "We're going to. Let's double date and you can finally meet Bio." And she's like, "All right, cool. Let's do it because I don't really know him like that. So if it goes well, we can do our own thing. If not, I can use you as an excuse to get the hell up on out of this date." So moving on, Fatima is making Alfredo for her and Zach's dinner. And Zach tells her he's thinking about renting out the house next door to help pay off the mortgage. And I told y'all they talked about the 30% increase in the stock in the first scene. No, they talked about it now. So here's where he tells her about the 30% increase in the stock. And she's basically like, "Sell this stock. Just take the money that you got from it and move on from it because I'm feeling some bad juju from this. And I know you trust Jake from State Farm, but I don't really trust this dude. I don't know him like that. So let's sell this stock and move on with your life. You can invest it and do something else or, build other businesses or whatever." So he's like, "Yeah, you're right. Maybe I should, but I'm going to go ahead and talk to Jake about it first so I can get some advice." Here's I think that Zach should go ahead. I honestly pray that Tyler Perry doesn't ruin Zach's success. I think that his character has suffered enough. Let him enjoy the fruits of his labor. Like, did he really do any labor? No. But let him enjoy the good life. Let this man live. Don't have all this stuff taken away from him because he has suffered for a long period of time. He finally got a good woman, finally has his own place, doing his own thing. I just don't need Karen to have any ammunition to try to come and stomp on his parade anymore. Because she already over there pregnant and confused and trying to ruin his life and figuring out different ways to do it, which I'm sick of her. But just don't ruin Zach's life. Please, Tyler. Let him live. So then they go back and forth about whether she's going to stay the night. She's like, "Well, I'm going to go ahead and go home." And he's like, "No, you done cooked all this food. Why you going to leave me?" She's like, "Well, I got to go get some clothes. I'll be back." He was like, "Well, just go get your whole bag out your trunk." She was like, "I don't have a whole bag now that we're together." And he's like, "Yeah, all y'all girls got a whole bag." She said, "Well, you just better not have no whole bag." And he was like, "Well, I just go over their house naked." And she's like, "Yeah, okay. I'm going to go get my clothes and I'll be back." So when she leaves, he then calls Jake from State Farm and tells Jake to come over because he wants to give him this check. So Jake comes over. In the next scene, Jake comes over and they're talking about the stock. And Zach tells him, "Thank you so much. You didn't really have to do that." And Jake's paying the contractor. And Jake is like, "No, no problem. I look at you like a brother. It's just, I know it's weird that I'm doing all these nice things for you, but it's just kind of like you meet people in life and you just have a connection with them, almost like brothers, I feel, with you and I." And so Zach was like, "Okay, brother, let's talk about this stock." And he was like, "Yeah, I saw it's up 30%. Jake saw that." So Zach is like, "What do you think I should do?" And Jake pretty much advises him to go ahead and sell the stock and give him $1 million to invest it in other stocks so they can get the SEC off his back. And I think that's actually a good idea. Now, should he trust Jake wholeheartedly? I don't know. I don't know. But if you're doing it through through a firm, the investing, why not? Like, I think that it's going to be worse for you to lose everything than to lose just a little bit and get everybody off your back. Like if you do that, that's going to turn a blind eye, I believe, to people looking at how you got this money and ultimately get hating off your back from Jump Street. So I just think that Zach is kind of being a little overzealous with this, and he should just go ahead and sell the damn stock. Like that's what I think. Okay. So I'm kind of jumping the gun because we were supposed to talk about Annie and Danny and all these people because that's the last scene. So we'll get back to that from when Jake actually leaves. But Jake tells him pretty much sell the stock, trust him, don't trust him. He's trying to help him. And Zach is just like, well, you work with Gary, so I don't know if I should really trust you because I don't trust Gary's ass, but we'll see. And so Jake says he'll send him some contacts and they're gonna go from there. He'll send them some information. So let me go back to where we should be, y'all. So Andy goes to Danny's house to talk to her about Gary. And in this scene, we got some comments in here. LOL, right. I was about to say, what labor? When Tay Talk also says, yeah, I like Karen, but at this point she coming after Fatima, man, and it ain't cool. Yeah, I don't like the way Karen is holding on for dear life to Zach either. But I just that whole scene is just, it's too much. Like Karen is just becoming a fatal attraction at this point. So Andy goes over to Danny's house to pretty much get some advice on Scary Gary, as Danny calls him, and she tells her not to call his ass Scary Gary. But Andy, the nigga is scary. Like he's doing a lot. He's over here yelling and screaming with Aaron, talking about how he can't believe you over there in his daggone apartment with some other dude. And I'm like, you bought the apartment for her, sir. What is going on? So Danny is all dressed up, and Andy's like, I love this place. I love coming over here. And Danny's like, well, but bitch, you don't ever come over here. Like, what are you talking about? You just automatically love my house now? Like, you don't ever come up. When the last time you came over here by your damn self? Anytime you come over here, it's with the girls. You don't never come over here by yourself. What do you want, Andy? What do you got? What do you want? So she's like, you want some advice, don't you? So then Andy's like, yeah. She's like, but where are you going? So then Danny tells her about her date that she's going on with the airport. She's like, oh, Andy says, oh, with the airport security guy. She's like, yeah. So then Danny begins to tell Andy about Preston. And she's like, I just feel like he has a lot to learn. If you want to date black women, you have to learn how to date a black woman. And he doesn't know anything about me. And I feel like I have to teach him everything. And I'm just like, girl, isn't that what you do in relationships? I don't care if somebody is black, white, blue, or green. They have to learn about you. Your color is not the only thing that defines how to be in a relationship with you. You do know that, right? Now, I will say, a white man dating a black woman, is the black woman's color a huge part of her aesthetic in the overall context of being in a relationship with a black woman? Yes. Because there's going to be trials and tribulations in different ways and scenarios on how to deal with certain things, emotions, and situations. However, that shouldn't be the defining piece of how to handle you. I just think that the fact that he knows your favorite restaurants, he's paid your rent. Like Danny is really not giving foresight to all the things that this man has already done to show her that he cares about her. This man literally came over your house and saw you and caught you fucking somebody else. And you thought that he wasn't supposed to be messing with nobody. He's supposed to be just pining after you. And you told him not to call you. But then you looking at your phone all the time, waiting on him to call you. It's giving mixed signals, Danny. You think that, so why does he have to do all this work to date you? I don't see you over here lassoing up a cow to get to know him. Why does he have to do all this stuff to be with you, but yet you don't have to do anything to try to be with him? It's not fair. It's not an even playing field. And I just think that it's really, really messed up. Like I'm like, and girl, at the end of the day, you ain't some prize. You some chick sitting in her apartment that get to work late all the damn time, barely does any work when she's at work, and get high all the damn time. What are your aspirations and goals? Maybe you should share that with him. How do you plan on contributing positively to a relationship if y'all have one? Because every time you going out with your friends, you looking for them to pay for you. Because you ain't got no damn money. hence him paying your rent. Zach paid your rent. Like, where are your funds? Maybe that's what he need to be asking your ass. What are you doing with your life? Why should I want to be with you? That he need to be asking his damn self that. So while you up here thinking that you some trophy and you some prize, sis, no, you're not. It's not about him reading a damn Malcolm X book on how to be with a black woman. That's not what he needs to do. You need to get off your high horse and realize that you ain't shit for real. Let's be very clear. Stop playing games with this man. Either you want to be with him or not. It's just as crystal clear as that. When Tay says, yeah, I like Karen. Okay, I think we talked about that. Danny, that's what you're supposed to do. Do you want another black woman to teach him about dating black women? Exactly. I mean, what do you want? Like, he can go to somebody else and they can teach him and they'll be happy. Right, with her broke ass. See, we on the same page, sis. This broad is just as broke as hell, always talking shit. Like, when you're dating anybody, when you're going on dates, ultimately you guys are getting to know each other. Now, she said that he doesn't respect her boundaries, which I don't appreciate, him just coming in her apartment and whatnot and all this, that, and the third. However, he paid your rent for 3 months. So by him extending that to you financially, now you made him think that he has some type of ownership over your space and that you guys had a connection that he really obviously wasn't reading correctly, because you are again giving him mixed signals all the time, hence wanting to use him for what you want to use him for, to your personal benefit. That's not how relationships go. Relationships are give and take. You know, when he was coming over there, you were okay with it when he was coming over there making steak dinners for you. Uh-huh. Andy, grow up. So then they get into talking about Scary Gary. And she's like, so you want me to tell you whether you should be with him or not? And she's like, we've already talked about this. I've already said what it is. Like, I don't know what more you want me to say, Andy. And Andy is like, you're right. I'm just going to call him. I'm going to call him. I'll start with that. Maybe we can meet up and talk and, just kind of see where it goes from there. She's like, okay. So Andy leaves out. She's like, I'm going to call him. And Danny says, you do that. Call him. I'm just like, Andy, don't call this man. What are we doing? What do you got? What are you doing with this man? Move on with Robin. Gary is scary. And he's abusive. Like, we can all see that. But Andy, one of those types of people, she ain't gonna learn until something really literally happens. So the next scene, Sabrina goes to get her hair done by Karen and sits in the chair. Karen asks, so you like this guy. That's why you're getting your hair all done up and whatnot. So she's like, yeah, I do really like him. So, then she tells her, well, don't go on this date talking about Calvin. And Sabrina's like, I'm not going to talk about Calvin. And then she asks her, so what about you and Zach? Like, what's going on? And so Karen goes into talking about how Zach ain't never going to change. He ain't never going to do this, that, and do that. And he going to end up being right on back trying to be with her anyway. And I'm like, girl, no, he's not. And then she's all confused about what she wants to do. Here's my thing, Karen. Sis, there's nothing to be confused about. Zach's not an option. He doesn't want you. So I don't know why you continue to think that this is a juggling act of affection. Aaron is your only option, sis. Zach is not. He's not on the table. Stop it. You're crazy. He has obviously moved on with Fatima. Very happy with her. He doesn't want a woman that treats him like shit anymore. He's found somebody that upholds him, lifts him up, if you will, like people should do in relationships. Instead of talking down to him and telling him what he ain't gonna be and what he can't do and what he ain't gonna do that. Girl, leave Zach alone. You are now a fatal attraction carrying his baby. And it's very sad. It's extremely sad to me. So she's over here acting all confused and whatnot and pregnant and emotional. So she's like, I just want to talk. I'm going to talk to Zach. And Sabrina's like, for what? Like, you don't need to talk to him. And she's like, we're your girls. We got you. And Karen says, I know you got me. And so then they end the scene with that. I'm just like, come on, Tyler, with this Karen being crazy stuff. I guess we got to have some type of something going on in the show, but it's just getting weird. So then Gary is talking to Aaron, and he's still spiraling out of control about Andy. And mind you, in the last episode, they made it seem like Andy and Robin was over there humping when Aaron came in on Gary, but Andy and Robin was in the office. So the times are getting real messed up with these scenes. They not things ain't aligning properly. So anyway, he's still going crazy saying, I got the apartment for us. Like, that was supposed to be for us. The apartment, the car, the gifts, and everything, that was for us. And Aaron is like, you can't tell this woman what to do with her gifts. Once you give somebody something, you shouldn't give somebody something with the intent of getting something back from them. You can't manipulate her through things. And that's what Gary thought, scary ass Gary thought he was going to do. He thought he was going to buy her all this stuff, and they was going to be having all types of rump sessions. He thought he was going to be on the one on that couch getting humped to Kingdom Come. But it wasn't him. It was Robin. And Gary needs to get his emotions in check, because for him to get this riled up all the time, it's a lot. So as they're going back and forth, and Aaron is consistently trying to calm Gary down, Andy calls on the phone because now she wants to have this conversation. So she's like, hey, come over to this amazing penthouse that you bought me. I want to talk to you. So now all of a sudden, he goes from one extreme emotion to the next. Now he's seriously happy about things, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm not angry. He gets off the phone, and Aaron's like, so what's going on? What are you gonna do? He's like, I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna talk to her. Yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good. And Aaron is like, yeah, let me take this alcohol away from you because you're tripping. And he's like, no, I'm good. We're good. Like, yeah, it's gonna be all good. And I'm like, crazy, deranged. What is going on here? You was just about to damn near chop Aaron's head off so that you could get over here to do what? God knows what to Andy. Lord knows we're happy that you got a call to get up into the penthouse. Well, now you do, because at first, child, everybody was just taking the elevator and then hitting P, which I don't know. I guess maybe Tyler realized that ain't make no damn sense, because why the hell would somebody buy a penthouse and anybody can freaking come in their house? But whatever. Let's get to the comments. Nobody on this show knows how to call somebody before they come to their house. Right. Just show the hell up. Y'all know you better. I know you fucking lying. You better not come to my damn house without showing up. I know that's tough. So Andy, when Tay Talk says Andy was just acting so happy with Robin. So what the hell do she want with Gary? Right. Girl, take them gifts and go. He is done. You've gotten what you need out of him. The well has run dry. Just move on. I'm glad Aaron got Gary together. Like, mofo, why the F you keep giving her shit and then wanting them back? Right, because it's a sense of control. He wants to control Andy. And it wasn't working this time. But usually, Andy is so drawn to materialistic things that he thought he could play on that love language of hers to try to get her back. And I'm just like, I'm so tired of the abuse with Gary. It's unbelievable. So Andy calls Fatima, and Fatima thanks her for all that she has done. And Andy says, I got your back, but I just wanted to call you and let you know Hayden has been scouring airport security camera footage looking for something. So if Zach did anything illegal to get that money, I need you to tell me now. And Fatima was like, I'm gonna go ahead and have Zach call you, because yeah, I'm not getting into that. I'll have Zach call you. And Andy's like, no, for real, Fatima, tell me if y'all got some shit going on, because I can't help you if I don't know what's going on. And Fatima was like, yeah, I got you. I'm gonna go ahead and have Zach give you a call. Okay? Yeah, he'll call you. Don't worry about it. I'm like, I know that's right, Fatima. I ain't about to dime my man out, girl. If you want to ask him something, you better ask him your damn self, because you ain't about to get it from me. Okay? So moving on, Gary goes over to Andy's house, and he's so happy to be there at first, But then she tells him to sit down on the couch, and he immediately start having flashbacks of seeing her get in her rump session with Robin when she was getting plowed Pound Town just the night before. So he goes crazy, and he's like, "Oh no, no, oh my god," freaking out. And Andy's like, "You want a massage? Like, are you okay? Like, you want some water?" He's like, "No, no, no." And then he begins to run out of there. I'm like, what in the entire fuck is going on with this man? He is batshit crazy. So then, in the last scene, we already talked about Jake and the stock, and Jake saying give him $1 million to reinvest so that it doesn't look crazy with the SCC, and then he can possibly make money off of the stock for Zach. And Zach is like, well, what is the difference of me doing that versus what I'm doing now? Because I could lose my money now. And I'm like, but Zach, you could make money off of the other stocks, and then it looks more of a diverse portfolio. I think he should actually listen to Jake. But Jake says, again, I'm gonna send you the information. You do with it what you will. Call me if you need anything. So then that's when Zach gets the call from the woman that gave him the tip on the stock in the beginning, and she's like, well, we need to talk. Meet me at the same place you met me last time, and that's where the episode ends. So, y'all, I don't know what's about to happen in this next episode, but I do see Karen walking up to his door and whatnot, talking about I'm going to go ahead and talk to him. And she gonna get a rude awakening when she see that Fatima done moved on in, and she need to move on out of her feelings, because it's not gonna happen. Okay? It's just really, really, really not. Okay? Last comment. When Tay Talk says, do Fatima know how Zach got the money? I don't know if she does or not. I don't think that he did. He told her how he got the money. So, but she just a ride or die chick. She ain't about to divulge everything that was said. She gonna let him tell the story how he want to tell it, and that's just that on that. So y'all, again, click the link down in the description box to get your Food is My Love Language t-shirt. Comes in unisex sizes. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with anybody else that watches Sistas too. And I will see you in the next video. Peace out.